Hi.
Hi. How are you?
You have questions.
Yes. I had a lot of questions. I'm sure you had a lot of questions, but rest assured, we're going to answer them right now. Like, for example, how is Wolverine alive after Logan?
Logan takes place in 2029. Totally separate thing. Logan died in Logan. Not touching that. What actually happens in our film is Thank you, Kevin Feige.
Love you, Kevin Feige. Thank you, MCU.
Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo. Wake me.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Ryan Reynolds dropped a new Deadpool 3 teaser with Wolverine, and they talked a little bit more about the actual plot, how it fits into the canon, so we'll break it all down. Of course, I'll be doing a bunch of videos for the movie as we get more footage and learn more about the actual plot, so if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. But the big deal in this teaser video is that they just confirmed that they're not going to retcon the events of the Logan movie. Like, the events of the movie will take place before the events of the Logan movie. That takes place in the year 2029 in the Fox Marvel universe. So they can literally do anything that they want during the events of this movie without affecting the canon of Logan. There's that whole section of the video where they try to spoil the plot and tell you what's actually happening, but they play the George Michael song so you can't hear what they're saying. This is actually a lip reading of what they're actually saying.
Get out there.
Yes.
And he's like, grrr, and I'm just
Pulls
like,
the
ooh,
fucking
and I just fucking
and
catch
then
him, and I'm chasing him all over the place, and we're going through
and we're
stuff
gonna
and
have
through all
this
these
massive,
different places,
massive,
and just
huge,
yeah, and I've got
fucking
the swords that,
explosion. And
boom, boom,
that's it.
but I'm fine. I'm totally laughing about it.
And I'm alive too, but really got to see this because we're in our prime. It's true, the prime.
And what a way to make it up to you.
So the joke there is that they're not really saying anything, like it's just a lot of gibberish about explosions and them fighting each other, because at the end of the first teaser, when they show that Deadpool logo, you see Wolverine's claws literally claw right through it, as if he's in the middle of a fight with Deadpool, like Deadpool versus Wolverine. That was one of my theories when they first released this, like, oh, it'll start the movie and it'll be like Deadpool versus Wolverine, but eventually they will work together and it'll be more of a team-up by the end of the film. Because during the lip-reading portion, you see Ryan Reynolds slicing Hugh Jackman up with his katanas, Bea and Arthur, because Golden Girls, and Hugh Jackman is pretending to stab him in the head with his claws. And if it's been a while since you've seen Deadpool or any of the Wolverine movies, the big joke here is that they both have powers of almost instant regeneration. I think in the comics, technically Deadpool's regeneration is supposed to be a little bit more powerful than Wolverine's, just like a little bit quicker, but I think part of the joke of the movie is going to be that it'll be pretty even, like they will both slice the hell out of each other and then instantly almost heal it, so they just keep going at each other almost indefinitely until they figure out that they need to work together. Like they could literally spend all day slicing their body parts off and they would just heal them almost instantly. Think about how long it would take a fight like that to play out if you have two characters who almost never get tired. But the other really interesting Easter egg, especially in that first trailer, is when Ryan Reynolds is talking about figuring out the plot of the movie, he talks about multiple versions of Deadpool. Like he says how each Deadpool should feel different.
His first appearance in the MCU obviously needs to feel special. We need to stay true to the character, find new depth, new motivation, new meaning.
Every Deadpool needs to stand out and stand apart. It's been an incredible challenge that has forced me to reach down deep inside.
It does sound like a very tongue-in-cheek type of teaser because in the Logan movie, they had the whole idea of the Wolverine clones that were being made of him, so there were a bunch of versions of Wolverine, including X-23, who is another female clone of Wolverine. But in the MCU movies, they've been doing variants because of the Multiverse arc, and Kevin Feige and the Marvel people have said that Deadpool 3 will be in the MCU, even though they're going to treat it like its own thing, like it'll be rated R, so it won't be in the same tone as a lot of the other Marvel movies. It'll be in the tone of a typical Deadpool movie like you would expect. They'll just be leaning on more of the overarching MCU plot, MCU tropes, and MCU characters. So the early theory, just thinking about this overarching Marvel Phase 4 multiverse plot, is that Deadpool 3 will involve variants of Deadpool that they do wind up trying to permakill. Like the main Deadpool and the main Wolverine will try to eventually kill that Deadpool. And they might wind up doing a version of Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, but they do it as a version of Deadpool kills the Fox Marvel Universe with a bit of a tongue-in-cheek type of joke, like we're moving into the MCU now and we're destroying whole universes.
His first appearance in the MCU obviously needs to feel special.
Because if you have this whole idea of incursions that are happening, especially like in the Doctor Strange 2 post-credit scene, wouldn't you expect Deadpool to do something as crazy as destroying an entire universe and not totally meaning to? Like, whoops, okay, I guess we should just go to this other universe now. And that other universe just happens to be the MCU. You also have the idea that they're going to want to use him in other MCU movies. Like there's Avengers 5, Kang Dynasty, Avengers 6, Secret Wars. He's probably definitely going to be in Secret Wars. I don't know what their cameo plans for other movies beyond that. Just Avengers movies are a pretty safe bet for him. I've already addressed them bringing back Hugh Jackman Wolverine. The whole idea is they might wind up recasting a version eventually in the future. Like they might actually transition to a new version without killing him off because they don't want to obviously retcon the events of the Logan movie. And I don't think it's going to be a variant of the character. I think it'll be like the main Wolverine that we've been watching this whole time and the main Deadpool that we've been watching this whole time. And because it is kind of complicated the way they explain like how they're connecting all the Fox stuff to the MCU stuff, we have seen a variant of Patrick Stewart's Professor X, but it's not like the main Fox Marvel version. It was meant to be like a completely different version that was a little bit closer to the version that we saw during X-Men the Animated Series. I think part of the beauty of Deadpool movies is that you can do the original versions of those characters, and you can do all this multiverse stuff, the incursion stuff, and Deadpool just has to call it out. He can hang a light on it and how complicated it is and how none of it makes sense. But I think the actual main plot of the movie will be a little bit simpler, more in the tone of the first Deadpool movie. I think they kind of got off the rails with the second Deadpool movie and all that X-Force stuff. Like the main plot of Deadpool 3 will be relatively simple, and it'll be like a slightly upgraded version of the Deadpool Wolverine road trip plot that Ryan Reynolds said that they had planned to do for Deadpool 3 until the big Fox Disney buyout. Like, I think they literally just went back to the original plot of what that movie would have been and just upgraded it a little bit and incorporated it into this big Marvel Phase 4 multiverse plot. In order to keep the plot of the Logan movie intact, remember that takes place in 2029, there's still several years worth of plot and crossovers that he can do before they have to get a version of that original Hugh Jackman Wolverine back to the Fox Marvel universe for the events of that movie. But I think if they're going to do a version of Deadpool kills the Fox Marvel universe, they just have a couple of jokes about that, like he wouldn't completely destroy the entire universe because then they wouldn't be able to send Hugh Jackman Wolverine back to that universe for the events of the Logan movie. There's also ways that you can explain it. If you've read the comic book Secret Wars arc, the more recent one, Reed Richards basically uses Franklin Richards to repopulate the entire multiverse, like bring everything back, so to speak. So there's a lot of easy ways that you can bring Hugh Jackman into all these Marvel movies and do more crossovers, even do a version of him in Secret Wars, and then have the characters fix the multiverse at the end of that storyline, and then eventually he goes back to the Fox Marvel universe for the events of Logan. A lot of people also asking if the house that they're in is the same house from the Logan movie. It doesn't look exactly the same, but what they might be doing is just having a joke about being in a similar version. Like this looks kind of like the version of the house from Logan. We also found out the specific comic book that he's reading on the toilet in the Deadpool costume. He's reading a copy of Wolverine Volume 7, number 21, and I don't think that the story of that comic book has anything to do with the plot of Deadpool 3 specifically. I think the reason he used it in the teaser video is probably just because as of the day he posted the video, it's the most recent Deadpool Wolverine crossover in the comics. Like he's trying to figure out the plot of the movie, so he's reading a lot of Deadpool Wolverine crossover stories. When you rewatch the first Deadpool movie, the funny thing you might recognize too is the idea that he uses the Hugh Jackman face, meaning that Hugh Jackman, the actor, is canon to the Fox Marvel universe, and Wolverine is like a completely separate entity. So we'll see if they make any references or jokes about that, like with him asking Wolverine if he's ever met Hugh Jackman, or just clowning on the Hugh Jackman actor while Wolverine is standing next to him. It's like the Star Wars problem in the MCU that a lot of people recognize when Spider-Man debuted in Captain America Civil War and started referencing all those Star Wars moments. Because then Star Wars became canon to the MCU, meaning the prequels are canon to the MCU, and Nick Fury looks remarkably similar to the actor Samuel L. Jackson who played Mace Windu. So like you have Nick Fury, but you also have the actor Samuel L. Jackson who's also canon to the MCU. That also feels like a very Deadpool kind of meta joke. Also, the really cool thing now, too, is Elizabeth Olsen was talking about coming back as Scarlet Witch, and because Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, X-Men stuff now happening inside the MCU, she said that she wanted to do a big crossover with them. And Kevin Feige also confirmed we haven't seen the last of Scarlet Witch, so I think we all believe that she would come back. Now they can actually do a Scarlet Witch X-Men crossover story for real. But if we get any more Easter eggs or we find out anything more about the plot, of course I'll do videos about it. Everyone just post all your theories in the comments below, like what do you want them to do for the actual plot of the movie if it's going to be connected to the MCU. It doesn't have to all take place in the MCU, it's just at some point during the film, they both have to get into the MCU. Everyone click here for that other Deadpool 3 Wolverine trailer video, and click here for my House of the Dragon Episode 7 video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.